Yeah, we're actually starting 4 minutes early.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to the YouTube extra that you get when you watch the Scotchy Bourbon Boys on YouTube. We are back for our Young Nose Johnson podcast, bringing him back. I think it's really kind of cool that we've been able to work this out.
Yeah, definitely excited.
What would you say? You've been doing it once a month. So once a month is pretty cool. Add in Saturday morning. I look forward to seeing you. We can catch up and do kind of a lot of fun things,
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be fun here in the future. Gonna get a little interesting with baby coming, but which that's coming right around the corner. Young Nose will be Papa Young Nose here soon.
And you can join the Dad's Drinking Bourbon group.
Yeah, officially.
Yeah.
I'm already joined because
Right.
of Dad to be, but
Yep.
so there's a question I have. So what would be some good options for a celebratory bourbon to celebrate my newfound fatherhood with?
That's out there. I mean,
Yeah.
well, maybe me and Super Nash will have to work on that one.
Yeah, I mean, some suggestions, even if I could go find one myself, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, this wouldn't be an everyday drinker. This would be special occasions.
Well, if you could, I mean, what are we looking? All right, there's a couple that let's just go right off the shelf, right? If you're looking for a more expensive one, Kentucky Owl Confiscated. That might be a good one. It's
I see that one a lot.
some dollar. Yeah, that you'll see it around. It's $120 some bottle. That would be kind of a special one, and Kentucky Owl, it's fantastic. If you could find an old Carter, I mean, I can't stress how good that is. That's a good one. Also, I mean, some people, I mean, look at what your brands. I mean, if you like scotches, so maybe that you do, you know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Grab a bottle of the best scotch in the world that you only like.
Right.
But what was I'm drawing a blank on the bottle because I blocked that gun oil, motor oil out of my brain, and it's
Ardbeg.
Yes, Ardbeg. Yeah, get a 12-year Ardbeg and see. I mean honestly, that would, if you're talking about scotch, that would be a kind of a cool thing. Get a nicer expression of Ardbeg. Supposedly, Redbreast Irish whiskey is supposed to be fantastic.
I'm not that too. Yeah.
I mean, you pull a bottle of that, you then pop that bottle for when your son's born, and then you send me a sample, and we'll do a podcast on that one.
Right. Yeah, that would be good.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, if you could pull off I mean, ultimately, not that you could do this, but if somehow, someone out there decided to want to give you a pour of Pappy 15 year, I mean, that would be get a right? Bottle of Pappy 15.
Hey, if any of the listeners out there are interested, I'm up for whatever.
Yeah. It's like message us through Facebook and the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Message John. He's on Facebook, and
yeah, and I run the Instagram page, so you can get a hold of me there too.
Right. There you go. So those are lots of different places where that it's going to be exciting. I mean, those are some of the pours. I would say if you could get Elijah Craig 15 year, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's just some of the bottles, what's out there is, but I'm just thinking straight that you might be able to get off the shelf. And like I said, you could, what else have I seen? I mean, it might be just in time to pull a Booker's, because Booker's should be hitting the shelf anytime. It's March.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Booker's.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
And that batch, maybe it'll have the name of it will have something to do with, coincide with your son. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen, But those are just a bunch of, celebratory. What else comes in it's good to get one in a nice box, or, if you can pull a Colonel Taylor in a tube, because if you get one in a nice box, like a Baker's 13, or, even like I've gotten some of my bottles in a, Watershed, even, but that box is something, and the bottle is something then you can store away, someday. Or what you could do is buy it and let it sit for, 21 years. And then when your son turns 21, drink it with him.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
right?
Put a bottle away just to drink with your son when he turns 21. I mean, a cool thing that I did with my son is I had picked up a Knob Creek barrel pick from a store. It was a store pick that I think Super Nash sent up, and it was barreled. He was 21, and it was barreled on his 10th birthday and bottled and dumped on his 20th birthday. So it was a 10-year Knob Creek that was that had been dumped and barreled exactly on January 28th, which is his birthday of 2020, or I believe he's 23, so it would have been 2019, and then I gave it to him for his birthday, his 21st birthday in 2020.
It's really funny because I was just thinking about that, because there was when I was still living in Ohio, Lena and I went to Pittsburgh, and we found a distillery out there called the McLaughlin Distillery, and I remember bringing home a bottle, and I'm pretty sure we did a podcast on it in our opening days. But they do something similar, and they have like basically a baby dedication, and so they'll take their distillate, put it in a barrel, and age it, and then when child becomes of age, then they'll bottle it, and that'll be their expression. And they actually put the child's name on the barrel. So this is,
yeah,
so and so barrel bourbon.
Aren't you by the Firefly Distillery?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why don't you go there? Why don't you go there and talk to them about, either getting finding out if they're barreling. I mean, maybe they are barreling at this time, you know what I mean? Or just see if they've got something going on that you can do something like that, or, pick up a bottle, that is associated with the date, when your son comes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea. So
yeah,
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, that'd be sure. Cool. All right. So I think that is a little short. We are doing today, folks, the Stellum Bourbon, which I have not. I'm excited. This is courtesy of Super Nash. I have not tasted it yet. But what we'll do is we're going to get ready to start recording the actual podcast. That's it for the YouTube special. Now you're just getting what you get when you listen. Maybe a little bit extra on the end, right?
Yeah, there's always a little more on the end.
All right.
After the bourbon has been flowing.
Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing, and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com. gmail.com.
Spirits of French Lick is proud to introduce the Maddie Gladden Bottled and Bond Bourbon. This 4-year aged bourbon is double pot distilled and non-chill filtered, and has a full-bodied mouthfeel with eucalyptus, molasses, clove, ginger, and slight citrus, as well as grains of paradise. The finish is long and reappearing on the back of the tongue with notes of pepper, tobacco leaf, and mint cream. All of our spirits are available for tasting and purchase inside the French Lick Winery and Distillery. Spirits of French Lick. Respect the grain, please enjoy responsibly, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right, welcome back to another exciting. Hey, the speaker banner, he is dying, and it just went in the middle. Another exciting podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys started out with a busy signal. Yes, we are really fucking busy today, right? Another great podcast. Coming to you, we are doing our Young Nose Johnson edition of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Welcome, Young Nose.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Tiny. I was just going to say your video feed's a little choppy. You just froze there for a second.
Yeah, something went on, but I'm sure you never know. But overall, you froze up too. I think it was just the overall thing just went kind of whatever, but hopefully that won't happen anome. Sometimes it does.
The audio is coming through in real time, so we're good there.
Yeah. And then, today we're doing a special one. We've got Stellum Bourbon, which is excited. These podcasts we do on a Saturday morning, because it works out for both of us to hang out a little bit on a Saturday and do a podcast, but also know you might hear some background music from my 5-year-old granddaughter that has everybody, if you've been listening or watching, know that she exists because she has been a part of it from time to time.
At some point,
so
yes.
just know that I'll throw that out there. But we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I am Tiny, and I already specified we are here with Young Nose. And
yes,
you can find us on all major podcast formats. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and did I say YouTube already?
And
yeah, I think
yes, you did, and so many more.
Yes, and then also check out our website, www.scotchybourbonboys.com, for all the swag that you can find. Unprepared, but I think I prepared enough to just.
I got my T-shirt going.
You got your T-shirt. There you go. Our T-shirts are for sale, but also our Scotchy Bourbon Boy, Gladden, Karen's. They are out there. Also, I am available for corporate tastings, personal tastings, internet tastings. We got it all covered. Just contact me if you would like. We can supply the bourbon. Get samples to you, and then also tasting mats, and kind of do, a thing right online, or I can come to you. If you're in the local area, I can travel and come to you directly, along with corporate tastings in the area. So here we are again, right?
Yes, we're back again.
So how have things been going with you lately? Pretty good. I see that you're moving and grooving and moving up. You're starting to, you look like you were going to do you're getting ready to do home inspections, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Getting involved into another branch of career change. This time, probably the last career change, depending on how things go in the future. But yes, I'm studying and soon to be licensed as a home inspector for the state of South Carolina. So it'll be mainly in the Charleston area, but that could venture out elsewhere depending on how things go. So.
Well, what you could do is not change your profession, but you could add to your profession. Not only would you inspect the home, but you'd inspect their whiskey collection. And then, you know, get into, like, if they had a really good, we could get into like the appraisals of, you know, inspecting those whiskey collections to see, you know, so if you see that when you're doing the home inspection, you can be just like, you know, I could give you a nice appraisal on your awesome whiskey collection, but, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's an ancillary service. So that would be added on to the inspection.
Exactly. You could have that right there. And you're like, well, and just so you know, I have to also taste to make sure that it's authentic.
Yeah, so it's not just sweet tea in a glass bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, all right. So today, that brings us to the Stellum brand.
Yes.
Now, you're the one that, you know, you went out and after last time we picked this, that we're going to do it right away because you had taken one of these sample bottles that Super Nash kindly has sent up to us, and
Yes.
We've got it. So it's the exact same whiskey to taste, and
Yep.
it's kind of a last year when it was really kind of hitting the shelves and people were just getting a hold of it. Fred Minnick and some of the other whiskey people at Bourbon Pursuit, and, you know, Kenny there, and you know, so what it was getting favorable results on what it tasted like, that this was some damn good whiskey. So I was excited to try it, and I am definitely excited to try it tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning.
It's not nighttime. It's morning.
It's not. So, you know, kind of give us a little bit of an introduction to what the hell we're trying to do here, what this is. I mean, it's so new. Not a lot of people, it's not in our market for sure. I've never seen, actually, yes, I have seen one time it's been released into Ohio. It was available. I passed on it because I didn't know at the time. But if I saw it now, I would definitely probably pick up a bottle.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely interested in trying this, and I haven't really tried much of Stellum. Like you said, it is new. It is a second brand, a new brand off of the Barrel Craft Spirits brand. So Barrel Bourbon would be the original brand. So the same people that produce, yep, there you go. Same people that produce Barrel Bourbon are responsible for the Stellum line. It is a new brand that they launched in March of 2021. So 2021, towards the end of it, they were going through, like you said, they were getting into different markets, and they've gotten a lot of different awards, and they were featured on a lot of, like, Barrel Craft Spirits and Stellum are one in the same mindset. So Barrel Craft Spirits, if you don't know out there, is a independent bottler and blending company. So they don't particularly distill their own distillate, age it, and then bottle it themselves. So it is sourced whiskeys from throughout the country, mostly Kentucky. There are some from Indiana and also some from Tennessee. So the 3 state areas there. They bring them together and then they blend them together to create their batches. So for Barrel Bourbon, their batches are batch to batch, and I'm not sure which number they're on now, but do you know what number they're on now? Or
For the barrel?
The one you have is a new one, like the batch?
Yeah, mine was from last year, and that was it was batch 29, and so I'm thinking, from what I've been hearing, you know, I think they're over 100. They could even be into the 200s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's caught on.
Okay. I didn't know it was that much, but okay. But I mean, it could be, because they were established in 2013. So Barrel Craft Spirits was originally established in 2013. The founder is Joe Beatrice. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name.
Sounds good to me.
But it sounds good to me, so we're gonna go with it. It's better than beet rice. So
I think you're right with the Beatrice. Yeah, that's probably exactly how you spell Beatrice, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, got a little info on the people that run Barrelcraft and Stellum. A little bit into the Stellum line itself. There was an article I found from businesswire.com. The article was written by Aaron Brost. And essentially, it kind of depicts the Stellum line is a bourbon brand that was launched in the US in March 2021. The brand that is Stellum is investigating what's the importance of the nuances and the micro differentiations, which to me basically says the very small, intricate pieces that go into bourbon is what they're highlighting on this. So it's designed to be a clean and straightforward bourbon, and it highlights the essentials of what bourbon whiskey is that are blended together to create clean lines and definition. So, in other words, it's more of an elegant brand. It's like I can only assume that they're more along the lines of like elegant and subtle flavors and complexities mixed together to create a unique marriage expression. Whereas the barrel bourbon is probably more of your robust, bold, unique flavors, finishes, that sort of thing. Can only assume based off of what that article said, because it was a little challenging to understand. So I kind of had to ponder on it a couple times to kind of bring it down to a level that I could understand. So,
well, I hope it's complexity of the article transfers into the complexity of the bourbon.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So, another thing with the Stellum brand is it actually exceeded their sales projections when they first launched it. So within 6 months, they already beat like their sales. So like you said, Tiny, this bourbon is catching on and it's growing and it's going places. So they even decided to launch it in the Australia market, and it's being produced in, well, not produced, but
so
distributed through the Australian market through a it's called Aurum Spirits is the distribution. Yeah, Orsum Spirits. Yeah.
Okay. So it's over in Australia, hey?
Yes, sir.
So I've decided that we're gonna we haven't barrel bashed for a while. Let's barrel bash this sweet expression.
Sweet, the sweet elegant bourbon.
Our
I'm really curious now. The only thing I don't have are tasting notes.
Good.
So we're just gonna throw our own tasting notes on there.
Overall, early on, our tasting notes, when we would get tasting notes, I used to like to rely on them. They would help me, pull stuff out. But lately, I've been really doing a lot of sensory training with my aroma kit, where I just every day smell everything and just trying to jumpstart my nose completely to start to understand what it smells, what an earthy tone is. They've got acetones, they've got acetyl acids, they got pretty much everything, for you to go through like 36 different smells. And some of them, I still, it's funny because that you're supposed to be smelling something, but you don't smell anything on some of the, the chemicals that are in there, the actual alcohol chemicals, that are in there. And that's kind of like, I'm just keep every day smelling it to see if I smell most of it. I smell, I'm smelling, the banana and the chocolate and the caramel and all those different, the oak and, the toast. They have a toast one, I can smell. But when it comes to some of those actual, what would you say, the actual alcohol chemicals, I'm still, that's what I'm trying to really hone on my, my nose palate. So I've been trying.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good thing to do, especially anybody that's going beyond just the I like bourbon to drink it and is pursuing some sort of enthusiast, roll or getting a little bit deeper into what it is that you're smelling and tasting, an aroma kit is definitely a good way to go to help identify certain flavors and those little nuances in between batch to batch. So
Yeah.
I see you already poured some, so I'm going to pour mine.
All right. So our barrel bashing system for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys consists of 4 different categories: nose, body, taste, and finish. We have, through the years, adjusted this scale.
Yes.
Now, the recent adjustment is that we went from 16 to 18 as the total score, based off of the nose receiving a total of up to 4 points. Then the body, the nose, and then the taste can receive 6 points. The body can receive 4 points, and the finish can receive 5. You're right, 5 points. Sorry about that. 5 points. So it's a scale of 4, 5, 4, 5. So 4 for the nose, a total of 5 for the taste, 4 for the body, and 5 for the finish. And if one of those categories is exceptional, you can add a butt up. And we came about that on the summer of our first year, and that was it was a lot of different things before it was the butt up. But it stayed the butt up, right?
Yes, it did. Yes,
Listen to the Roxy and Tiny Get Ready to Go to Kentucky first season podcast, because that's where the butt up kind of was invented. But so an exceptional bourbon can get a 19 out of 18. So we have been doing this pretty much, once we started the barrel bashing pretty early on. When I podcast with Young Nose, he pretty much keeps notes. So what was really cool the last time we did this was he had the notes of the prior time that we were tasting a whiskey again. But it had been almost 2 years since we had tasted it. So it was really kind of cool, because he had the tasting notes that we had come up with and also the scores, and they were quite similar, I believe, correct?
Yeah, they were off pretty much by 2 points each, but that was because of the adjustment from 16 to 18.
Right.
So I think prior we had like 10, 12, and then this time it was like 11, 12, something like that. So
right. So it
was very similar.
Really close. All right. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about tasting in a Glencairn. Glencairn's, for you people on YouTube, I'm showing you the Scotchy Bourbon. Now, see, that's a nice new camera. You really can see that, can't you?
Oh yeah,
that's
nice.
I like nice that. And what's happening there. And then what it allows you to do, one of the things that it allows you to do, I'm going to take my notebook, my handy dandy notebook, and I don't think I overfilled this. Nope, you can set it on the bar here, and we're going to move this all out of the way for right now. And you can see me right here. The glass can go on its side, and you can roll it. What that allows you to do is the whiskey rolls and coats the corners. Pick it up and hold it up to the light. You can see color, but you can also see what's sticking on the side of the glass. And this is holding on for a while. Since I picked up, there we go. We're getting the first set of legs. Oh, it's really taken a while there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely takes a while to come back down, but they're nice thin. They're not real thick. They're almost teardrop-like.
I haven't even gotten a leg yet. It's still coating the side. There we go, over here. All right, there we go. Let's see if you can actually see that. Can you see that? If I hold that up, let's see. I'll spin it around. Let's see. Yep.
Not quite. You can see a little bit of texture in the glass there.
Yeah. So these are thin legs. They're long, thin legs. Well, I'm going to try one more time because it's right there. It's just sitting right there. What about that? No? Yes? Yeah, there we go. See it right up there? Yeah, we got that there. All right.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anybody
Alright, so
listening, you'll
this-
have to join into the
Yeah,
YouTube
that was
video
for
to
the
actually
YouTube
see
video.
it. You
People
can't
could
see
see
it on
it.
the audio, but
But also the Glencairn is a teardrop shaped glass with a base. And so one of the cool things is you can hold it on the base and not warm up your alcohol when you're drinking. It can be anything scotch, it can be any kind of whiskey or any kind of alcohol when you're doing this. A great tasting glass. And what it also adopt with that teardrop shape is when you go to nose it, it brings those flavors from the bottom and condenses them into a more condensed flavor. So that nosing is a lot easier than if you were just using a straight forward glass without this shape.
I'm really liking the nose on this one, Tiny. I think you're gonna enjoy it too. I got a lot of different stuff, and my nose right now is a little underwhelming as far as young nose goes because I've been suffering from some allergies down here in Charleston. It's beginning of March, but we're already entering into spring season. Sorry for y'all up in Ohio, but it's trees are blooming, pollen is flying everywhere, and cars are turning green.
It's got a caramel peanutty smell, but then I also get a citrus, like almost an orange on the top.
Dude, we're good at this because that's what I got. I got instantly, it was like an orange peel and then a salted caramel smell. A little bit of like a bread, kind of some grains in there, but
yeah, it's like the salted caramel or the like it's caramel, but like if you ever smell a caramel apple before you bite it, that's the smell right there. That caramel with the peanuts, you know what I mean? It just changes the caramel just a little bit, and then on the top, if you
I'm not getting too much of the peanuts, but I'm definitely getting the apple flavor, the smell on that, the nice fresh apple.
Yeah, maybe that's
an orange
it.
peel.
I got a little of the apple that time. So this is a pretty complex nose, but it's a classic Kentucky bourbon nose. It's definitely, if you love,
I don't know about that. I don't know if this is classic Kentucky. Classic Kentucky is like caramel, vanilla, oak. Like I'm not getting any oak on this. Like
last night,
I'm not really getting any of that barrel smell.
Yeah, but see what I've been learning with I could go get it. Last night, one of the things is I always get this root beery smell, right? And when I was going through my aroma training, and I'm going to have to look it up today, but when I was going through my aroma training, that root beer smell was a specific bottle that said exactly what it was, what that root beer smell was. And I'm like, oh, so that's what I'm smelling. I'm not smelling the root beery smell, even though that's what it smells to me. It was something else that was on the bottle, this on the label of the bottle. And I get that right here a little bit. And I want to go get it.
I really like this nose.
Fuck it. This is my this is
you
my
can go
podcast.
get it. Why not?
I'll get the aroma training kit.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to give a little bit of history here. So, the founder of Barrel Craft Spirits and now the Stellum brand, which is off of that, is Joe Beatrice. So a little bio on him. When he established the Barrel Craft, he wanted to take things into a different direction. So when he got started in 2013, the conventional system of making whiskey was to build a distillery, distill it yourself, age it, produce it, and all of the things that come in between. Well, he wanted to take things a little differently, and because of his background in home brewing with beer, he originally didn't want to go around the beer route because there were so many other people doing it that were much better than him. He went towards the whiskey route, but again established the same thing. There are already these mass producers that are producing whiskey, are very successful at that conventional model. And he thought, well, why don't I do something different? So instead, he has founded the Barrel Craft Spirits, which is, like I said before, a independent blending and bottling company. So they don't actually produce their own distillate. They may age it a little bit here and there, but most of it is already pre-aged. So they source all of their whiskey. They taste everything that's coming in. They find what profiles they want to showcase. They mix them together. They blend it together. And then they take those blendings and then blend it with other stuff. So it's like they take single barrel stuff, micro blend it together to create a base and then blend that with other things that are coming through. So as far as Joe himself, his own mash, he chose to source from exceptional casks from already established producers, blend them together, and bottle and sold them as transparent as possible. The technique at the time was unique to the American way of whiskey, but not so in the scope of the world or globally. Obviously, the Scots have been doing this for years and years and years before, is what they do. But the difference between what he does and what they do is they'll have a neutral grain spirit added as their base, and will take their malts and blends and mix it that way. Whereas what Joe does is he takes already considered straight whiskeys or bourbons, or, you know, because some of it's coming from Indiana, some of it's coming from Tennessee. So it's not all Kentucky straight, but it is at least straight bourbon, and blends them together.
Well, that. I mean, it sounds, you know, he's doing. So the cool thing about this is the price. Okay.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that are doing this now, but the price is at a price point that's really respectful. I mean, some
Mhm.
people think $80 a bottle for this, but what Old Carter and also what they're doing, what was the other one? It was, I believe, Old Carter's doing this blending, and then also Kentucky Owl. They also do that type of blending. And that type of blending is going for, you know, $199, $200, $300 a bottle, where this is going for $80 a bottle. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a cool concept. Now, I did go to the tasting kit while you were doing that, and I was nosing.
Yep.
And there's two flavors. One is the brown sugar. That's that flavor that's in there. That's a little bit but then there's also the one that smells like root beer to me is the herbal. It's an herbal thing. It's almost like, and there's a little bit of an herbal aspect to this too. So you got the caramel, definitely is just coming out like way more now that it's been in the glass for a little bit.
Yeah, now that it's breathing, I was just going to say there's a little bit more caramel on this. I
Now
definitely can get the brown sugar.
This nut smell right here is it's just called nut. And when you nose it in the
Nut.
aroma, it's just delicious. It's like, this is a form of the nut I'm getting. But I get a brown sugar, a caramel. I get that
So
in an herbal.
let me ask you a question, Tiny. Where did you get
Oh.
your aroma kit?
Well, that was through the Stave and Thief Society, through Moonshine University. It's part of the class that you take for the Executive Bourbon Steward class, where you get all the noses and everything that's in there. And you know, it's got butane. It's got butane, acetylene. It's got heads, hearts, tails, corn, rye, wheat, malt, vanilla, caramel, nut, herbal, butter, toast, tobacco, leather, smoker, all those flavors and things that are in bourbon and whiskey are there for you to recognize the more. So what I've been doing just as of recently, now that I feel that my palate and my nose has really kind of recovered from everything that it's just gone through over the last 6 months, but I've been nosing this every day, all 36 of them. I'm just going through to recognize those smells and what they are in the bourbon. So this, how you can develop your palate or your nosing skills by teaching yourself what everything smells like. And you can see it right there, right? You see it all right there, all 36.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nice,
all right.
Nice big collection there.
So let's taste this. I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, the nose is complex as fuck, right?
Yeah, the nose is definitely complex.
There's a lot of shit going on in
the
there.
citrus, between the florals, between the fruits, between, you know, now the caramel coming through.
All right, let's see what it tastes like. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Let's
me
see if
too.
it doesn't Xavier taste like it smells. Wow. Now, this is a 114.98 proof, correct? Holy shit, that's a good finish.
Yes, sir. This is
Delicious
almost
finish.
57 and a half.
Yeah, but
Wow.
that is a big body. There's huge body on this. It's full mouth feeling. It clings. It's the I went to
Ooh.
for how thin the legs were in the glass. It was sticky in the glass. I mean, it's stuck
Yeah.
to the side, but the legs
it
were.
held, yeah.
But now,
Like it's
what
still
now?
holding.
Holy shit, that's a hug too, isn't it?
Got nice warmth.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, going down. You can feel it down here and going in. Not so much a belly burn or a chest burn, but it's more kind of staying right here on the throat. But that's nice. That's really good for 114 proof.
That's pretty smooth. There's no
I would
doubt about
expect
that.
more of a strong kick.
All right. Well, that's body. All right. Well, I'm gonna get another sip of this. This is delicious. You can't say this is not.
Oh, this is really good. This is blending mastery right here.
So, total caramel apple on the front palate. It's caramel and apple.
Excuse me.
And then you get an oakiness, but the whole thing, you don't have to do a Kentucky Chew. It goes cheeks, tongue, roof, under the tongue. It just fills your mouth with deliciousness, right? And then,
Oh yeah.
and then that vanilla on the finish, that's one of the strongest vanillas on a finish I've had in a while, especially on a bourbon.
It definitely like it starts sweet, and
Yeah.
as you no doubt about it, as you go to swallow it, the bourbon definitely kicks in. There's a heat, there's a spice there. Little bit of like a leather on the back palate going into the finish, kind of a little dry, but still great. Still has a nice sweetness to it. It's definitely a good bourbon. I like this one a lot.
Delightful. There's some nice
Nice.
leather, oak, but it's perfect. It's sweet while you're tasting that leather and oak.
It's good balance, right?
And then it goes into vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't stay it doesn't stay around, but there's the complexity of that leather and oak right at like 3/4 palate, and then when it hits the back of your throat, back to a vanilla caramely finish that, and then this nice warm hug back of your throat all the way down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's delicious. All right, let's do some bashing. What do you say? What did I do? Nope, I didn't lose the hammer.
All right, I'm going old school on this one. I'm gonna keep track of our bashing on this.
Yeah, I got so I think the color, when you look at the rich color, it's definitely on the caramel side. It doesn't go into those mahoganies really dark. That it's on the caramel side.
Yeah, it's definitely on the lighter on the color.
I am so
it's not a deep amber. It almost has just a slight darker hue than a beer.
Yeah, it's not amber, it's caramel, just a little bit more. Yep. Now, Barrel Craft is
this is delicious.
You get to go on the nose. I want to see what's your
my rating on the nose.
Barrel Craft Spirits, yes. You're the young nose.
I am the young nose. So I really enjoy this nose because it's complex and it essentially evolves over time. So when you first pour it in your glass, instantly got the orange peel, got a little bit of that apple, nice fresh fruit, citrus smell. There was a subtleness of caramel and vanilla kind of in the background until it got to breathe in the glass a little bit, and then it evolved into that what you would consider a traditional Kentucky bourbon smell profile. The caramels, the brown sugar kind of came through. I wasn't quite getting too much of the nut or the root beer, but I was getting a lot of that nice fresh fruit, a lot of that orange peel, the dry fruit. Not a lot of oak on the smell. And so it presented this nice sweetness, this nice elegant bourbon off of the nose. So I'll give this a 4.
So you were talking about, I've always referred to the root beery smell, but the root beery smell is brown sugar. That's and it also has a herbal aspect that is that root beer. So there's, for me, knowing that, I would, instead of saying root beer, I would say I'm getting a brown sugar and I'm getting a little bit of herbal. I definitely got the orange, but the orange dissipated as we kept drinking. There's less and less of that orange. And it wasn't, like I said, the caramel was muted. Like when you smell a caramel apple before you actually bite the apple, you're not getting a lot of apple in there, but when you put peanuts in the caramel, there's a combination smell there, right? Of the peanuts and the caramel. It's not so strict. That's what I was referring to as like with the nutty aspect of it.
Yeah.
I give this nose, I give it a 3. It was good. So you gave it a 4. And I gave the nose a 3. So that brings us to body.
All right. So I'll have you go next on the taste.
The taste?
Yep.
Okay. Not the body. I'll go on the taste. I'm going to go 5 on the taste. And the reason why I'm going 5 on the taste, that's what I can go, right? It's not a butt up.
Unless you butt up, right?
I'm not butt upping it. It's good, but it's not great, but it's really, really, really good. That's right. The taste with the caramel on the front, a little bit of apple, all the stuff that, that the taste is fulfilling throughout your whole mouth. And then when it gets that vanilla on the back, which is still part of the taste, and before it becomes the finish, it's just a very delightful experience. And I like it. I like it a lot. That's why I give it a 5. I hit it.
Yeah, I know you already hit it, so I'm gonna go right into it. So I'm gonna second you on that. It's still a very good taste. It is not good, not great, but it's really, really good. I'm gonna give this a 4 on the bash, and the reason for it is because it's like, again with the nose, it's like an evolution in the taste. Go ahead and bash. So you go ahead and hit that.
Because otherwise I'll forget.
Yeah, right. It's an evolution in the taste. So it starts subtle, it starts sweet. You get a little bit, like you said, the apple, a little bit of citrus fruit. And then you kind of hold it in your mouth for a second. You don't have to swish it around because the body is phenomenal. We're going to get there later. But it starts to go dry, it starts to go oak, and it starts to get hot because of the proof and because of the fact that it's whiskey, So it starts to get those bourbon flavors. And then, like you said, when you go to swallow it, it goes sweet again. But those nice, bold, dry flavors of the oak and the vanilla mix together and creates that leathery feel. So it is really nice. It's definitely got the sweet, it's got the punch, and it's mixed together. And it's sweet at first, but the punch comes later. So I still give it a 4.
Okay, so we hit that. Now it's your turn on the body. What do you think?
Body. So the body on this one, like I was saying, is
buttery
phenomenal.
And nice.
It's definitely buttery, but it's not oily, and there's no long legs. Yeah, I mean, but it is nice. It is a nice, smooth, full mouth. It holds well in the glass. It clings to the glass. Like, I have none left in my bourbon, in my Glencairn, and you can still see the particles along the outside of it. So it's definitely a nice sticky feel. You don't have to swish it around the Kentucky Chew like you had said. It fills my whole mouth, so I give this a 4 on the body.
4 on the body. So I agree completely on the body. It's just like I would be giving this a butt up if it had a better what would you say? If it had a better glass experience. The glass experience seemed like it was just a little short. As far as the full mouth and the deliciousness, it's a 4. But the butt up almost happened. I was thinking of giving it a butt up, but I pulled that back just thinking about what happened in the glass with the thinner legs. It kind of like you said, it's there. It's delicious. The mouthfeel is a little spicy, but overall, it's just it just takes that deliciousness and delivers. So, when you give it a 4 out of 4, just because you're going to give it a 5 out of 4 isn't like you're ripping on it, right?
Yeah, right. That's naturally, that's the highest score you can give it. So,
right. All right, that brings us to finish. That's me. On this one, I have to say the finish to me is delicious. It's what I look for in a finish. It's mid to, it's not long, but it's not mid. It's in between. So if it's a 4
medium
and
to
a
long
2, a mid finish is a 2 and a 4. It's a 3 for the length. Okay, and then the finish to me is also, it's vanilla, but it's and there's a little bit but it's not real complicated. So I am going to give this finish. Oh my God, how do you lose the pen with you right in front of it? Okay, I give the finish.
I don't know.
Maybe we can rewind and see what I actually. Oh, there it is. It's in the black of the black.
That's really funny, Tiny, because we're gonna be giving this the same score. Because I'm giving the finish a 3 on this as well. Right. Because it's definitely a delicious finish. It has a nice warm hug. There is some nice heat that lingers throughout your mouth and your throat. Not so much in the chest or in the belly, which is good because that's what I like. I mean, I don't like something that I feel like I'm gonna, if I drink too much of it, I'm just gonna like vomit it up because my stomach is so hot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the taste is sweet, so that ramps it up a little bit. It's a little bit like the taste is nice and long. The heat kind of dwindles a little bit later or earlier than the taste, which is good. And it's a nice sweet taste, but I still give it a 3 just because it doesn't have that longevity of the finish.
What the hell was that? Let's try that again.
There you go.
So that gives us both 15 out of 18s. Delicious bourbon. What I want to do real quick is I know what this tastes like. I got Barrel Bourbon, which is a bourbon. That's really close because this is 115.8, so it's only 1% off. I'm gonna pour this in the glass and see what the difference is. Are you gonna buy a Stellum or are you gonna buy a Barrel Bourbon? Is the question. They're both bourbons, and are they unique and different?
That's another thing that I didn't really mention, but all of Barrel Bourbon and all of Stellum brand bourbon are cask strength. So there's no dilution. There's no 80 proof, 90 proof, 95, 100 bottled and bond version. It's all cask strength. That's all they do. They distill separate. They don't distill. I'm sorry. They blend and bottle cask strength bourbons, so they don't dilute anything.
Okay. So what I want to say about this is 100% the barrel bourbon is a little bit oakier, a little bit pepperier. So you're talking about a person who technically that initially would say maybe a little bit more aged beyond, like, for instance, it's not more like Stellum is not a young bourbon. Stellum is what I would call, it's in the sweet spot of what the bourbons are, where this goes a little past the sweet spot into for the people who like those extra aged, oaky. It's still sweet. I'm not saying it's not sweet, but it's got a little bit more pepper and a little bit more oak. So that's the difference between the two brands that I had right here. And if I'm going to pick, I'm definitely going with the Stellum because that's what I like. It's more towards what I like.
I just got to pour a little bit more. This is really good.
It's good
I'm gonna,
stuff.
I'm gonna have to find some of this. I do know anybody in the South Carolina area listening, you can get Stellum Bourbon delivered through Caskers. They will deliver to South Carolina, so
Yeah,
it's
go for
available. And it's only $45. So
Oh,
you're
maybe
good.
there's a Stellum going to be on its way to your house, right?
Yeah,
Based off
there's
of what you're tasting there.
there probably is. Yeah, this is really good. However, I do like your idea of trying to find a special Scotch. That would be very unique. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't talking about for the what you call it. I'm just talking about at $45 a bottle.
Oh yeah, right.
Buy it and get it because it's good
this
enough.
might be delivering to Young Nose's house, right?
Yeah. Just because Young Nose is going to be having a delivery. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so that brings us up to real quick. We got a little bit of extra time here. Let's talk about what's happening with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Now, Young Nose, I know with you having the young one that there's not going to be a lot of travel time coming up. But
Right.
when we start to do these things and this keeps getting bigger and bigger, just always know that I'm always going to let you know. And if it can work out that you can, get down there or get around there or get through there or get around. I think I'm going to be seeing you in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, we
Yep.
are going to be right in your area, right on the beach at and I think my wife invited
Yeah.
you guys down. So hopefully you'll be able to make that.
Yeah,
But
wifey said that you're staying at Isle of Palms.
is that cool? Do you know that place?
Oh, I know that place very well. And I
So-
know where you're going to be staying at too. I do work out that way all the time.
So we just were like on the way back, let's stay near the beach on something extravagant. And that's kind of extravagant and take advantage of it. So
if you're going to go extravagant, you picked the great place. Isle of Palms is definitely a popular vacation spot. So,
all right. So with that said, just know that June 9th, 10th, and 11th, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, I believe it's going to be Xavier, Roxy, and myself are going to be in Kentucky at Log Still Distillery for the Bardstown Bourbon Barbecue Contest and Kentucky Bourbon Festival Barbecue competition. But we're also going to be doing our Knob Creek barrel pick at Jim Beam with Sandy No, Carrie Sullivan from the Barrel Room, myself, and my wife are going to be picking a Knob Creek barrel, which should become available, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys Barrel Room Select, or if you go with Carrie's, hopefully it'll be the Barrel Room Scotchy Bourbon Boys Select. We're going to be splitting out half that barrel, but doing that, those bottles will be in a pre-sale between June and when it's delivered. I believe a couple months later is what it takes to get bottled and delivered up to you. So in August, when we will have the distribution, already have lots of people saying, hey, I want to get a bottle, I want to get a case, that kind of thing. Will be as fair and equal as we possibly can with the distributorship. We've got other barrel picks starting to get scheduled, aligned. I just want to see what the demand is for this particular barrel pick, and then see where we're going to go from there. But we're looking at Wild Turkey and the Spirit of French Lick, which could be two really good barrel picks also. But that's not been, what would you say, solidified.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
confirmed, but it's in the confirmation process of what we're thinking of doing. So with that, but then also the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, we are going to be trying to do a couple things. One, looks like a couple weeks from now, we're going to be at a liquor store up in Akron, Ohio, where we're going to be there hopefully with the Horse Soldier people, where they're going to be doing a signing of the Horse Soldier bottles, and we're going to try and promote that directly from the parking lot of the liquor store. I'm not saying what the liquor store is yet because that has not been confirmed, but we are starting to get out on the road is what we're trying to do. Going to try and get to Iowa to meet Marquez. That's one thing we're going to try and do this year. And then we're also going to try at one point, I believe right now, Super Nash is going to be in Colorado. So look for what I'm going to try and do is do a Zoom meeting like this with him in Colorado at distilleries, where I'm brought in. He's hooked up through his phone at the distillery to see. We're going to try and do some kind of cool things out of Colorado with him being there. And Stephen Gould from Golden Moon Distillery. We've got Gunfighter double barrel bourbon, Gunfighter double barrel rye, 2 delicious thing. And then we've got Golden Moon it's Principium, which is a single malt, which I think I'm going to get you a sample of that American single malt.
Did you just say American single malt, dude?
Yes, and
that's been running through my head this whole podcast. I'm like, I gotta try some single malts.
Well,
man.
You're going to get a sample.
I love Scotch. I gotta try some American version.
It's delicious. There's a lot of chocolate.
There's always chocolate, Tiny.
No, there's not always chocolate. It's like there's chocolate on that though. But Stephen is just so well known in the bourbon industry and the whiskey industry. He's part of boards across the world in America and internationally. And then he is also bourbon or whiskey judge at all the major competitions. He's just come back from London. He is going to be on the podcast Friday, April 1st, and we are going to talk about his spirits. So that's really a cool thing. And he's invited me to come out to Colorado because what's happening in Colorado, there's a ton of stuff. He knows everybody because of what his position is. This should be a really good podcast. It should be exciting. Looking forward to that. But then Kentucky Bourbon Festival, folks, September 14th through 18th. I'm in the process of booking the bus tour. So I'm going to have to start doing a call because I'm going to call them, see what kind of a deal I can get. But it looks like I've got enough interest for 2 whole buses. So Jim Beam will be definitely part of one of the tour, schedule. I got to book that too up front, but to book up front, you're talking about a couple grand. So I'm going to have to work it out. So whoever's coming down, that's going to be I believe it's going to be on the Tuesday, because it starts the 18th. So Tuesday is the 17th. So we are going to be taking that bus tour on the 17th of September. So if you're listening and you want to get in on the bus tour, just somehow get a hold of me, make a comment on the YouTube, make a comment to me through Facebook, Messenger, or whatever. Get a hold of me. Let me know. The Scotchy Bourbon Boys at gmail.com. Email me. That's great, because that bus tour is going to be a off the charts fun thing. But then we will be down there podcasting from the festival the whole time. And the same thing in June at that log still. We are part of the broadcast team to be podcasting and promoting the barbecue festival, where all the distilleries are going to be. Plus, there's going to be national. I'm going to get fat that week. I really do believe I'm going to be fat as fuck. I mean, you're talking about my favorite food. There's going to be ribs. I'm sure there's going to be brisket galore. And honestly, my favorite food in the whole world, I'm going to have brisket sandwiches. I'm going to have brisket in barbecue sauce. I'm just going to go brisket fucking nuts. But I'm just looking forward to that so much. Thanks to Randy. He's got us coming down there. Randy Prossi of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival president, who is just killing it this year. Now, I might be able to, I've got a couple times though that I might be able to, through the state of Ohio, I'm working on that, going on some of the state of Ohio barrel picks. And then I'm also working on going on some more Kentucky Bourbon Festival barrel picks with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. So we're working out the details.
Man, Tiny, you really are busy. That busy signal at the beginning of the podcast was right.
So it's just like, look forward to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys producing some damn good whiskey, being part of some barrel pick for some whiskey, but also count on us for good content. I mean, you guys, if you didn't see the Marquez or listen to the Marquez last podcast, the YouTube will be up in the next couple of days. I got a lot of editing to do and everything, but then also know the week of the 19th, I'm leaving to go to Florida. I'll be down in Florida. I'm going to try and shoot some footage. I'm going to try and get to, I'm going to be talking to Alan Bishop about setting something up at the Key West Absinthe Company. Is it the Key West Absinthe Company? I think it is. They have a distillery down there that I'm going to try and get down and visit in the Keys one afternoon. That's just one of my things that I want to do. So hopefully I can do Facebook Live from there when I'm there with the guys, but I'm going to be setting that up. But I'm going to be on vacation in Florida for a week. So we're going to be recording some pre-podcasts. So I'll have some stuff going up on YouTube, some stuff going, I'll just load it from Florida, but we won't be doing any current ones during that week. And then also the Whiskey Live for that Friday is up in the air. I might or I might not. I don't know. I want to do it from Florida, but my mom is not my mom, but my wife is kind of like, we're on vacation. We're on vacation.
Yeah, but
so we'll see.
It's the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. It's everywhere. If not, you could just do the live the next Friday when you're up here in Charleston.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a Saturday after that Friday. It would have to be a Saturday then for that.
Yeah,
who knows?
Right.
There's lots of things open for it. That would be fun. We could do it from the lobby of the resort. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that would be really cool. You'd get literally live viewers and online viewers.
Yeah. So we could do the live right on that. Maybe we could just flip it to that Saturday night and just do it from there.
Right.
I'll just contact the people at the hotel so that they have the right kind of whiskey that we can taste.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Promote the hotel, right?
Yeah, right.
The venue.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, get a hold. Yeah,
especially at this time of year, because we're right at the borderline between off season and on season when it comes to vacationing. So they might be up for that.
Yeah. All right. So this is going to be a little bit different sound because the speaker is busy. I'm just going to play it off the phone. So, and it's not like we haven't done this a million times, correct?
Yeah, right. We're used to that.
So you got anything else to say to anybody as we get ready to go out?
Well, as far as Stellum brand, there are a couple other articles, websites that you can go to check out if you are curious about Stellum or about Joe and his founding of Barrel Craft Spirits. Breaking Bourbon has a really nice Q&A article about the founder and about the Stellum brand. So if you're interested in this brand, you can go there. The Whiskey Advocate also has an article about their core process of blending and how they differ between the Scots version of blending and their version of blending. It's a really good article to go check out. Also, the Whiskey Wash has an article from 2016, which is an older article, but it gives pretty much a full in-depth conversation of how they started, where they're going, and what they're projecting, which I know we're a few years into that article, but if you are a history buff and you want to know about where their beginnings lied, you can go check out the Whiskey Wash.
Awesome. So remember, everybody, good bourbon, good whiskey equals good friends, good time, and go out there and live your life. And it's okay if you do it dangerously. Oh, turn it down.
There we go.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die.
All right, we're done recording there. We're still live
right
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let me do the audio magic. One of the cool things. All right, let's do file.
Gotta love audio magic.
Publish to uploading. I'm gonna have to delete stuff soon because my computers are filling up because I've been doing so much. We call that's an easy one. Stella. Oh, that's going. All right. So we got Xavier who just popped in. You could come over here, Xavier, if you want to say hi to all the folks on YouTube.
What? Xavier!
Yeah, Xavier's stopping in for the next podcast.
No applause, folks. Just throw money.
Woo!
Woo! What's up,
Hey,
Xavier?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, man?
I'm doing fine. How's it going there, Tiny?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey, better dressed men are wearing denim shirts today, I guess.
Denim.
Oh, no,
I got my Scotchy Bourbon Boys
Oh,
shirt
yeah,
on.
well, that wins. That's definitely better than what we've got. So.
Yeah, we'll just he sat down, so let's get him a fucking glass in his fucking
Yeah,
hand.
you gotta
Or
try
New
some of
England.
that Stellum.
Yeah, you gotta try some of this. This is some damn good stuff.
Oh, you're gonna like it.
Stellum. Oh my god, was it good?
So since we're still on the YouTube here, I got a couple other things to say. The Stellum brand as well as the Barrel Bourbon brand, they have their own single barrel program. And the person that's in charge of that, I'm going to say that her name is pronounced Nice. It's spelled N-I-C, Nice, but it could be Nick. I'm not sure. I'm just going to say Nice because it sounds better to me. So she is also an executive bourbon steward, Tiny. She is also a level 1 sommelier, and her background started as a bartender for, I'm not sure here. Hold on. Let's see here. No. Okay. It doesn't really say, but she was a former member of the Bartenders Guild and was also appeared on Top Chef as to educate judges and contestants about cocktails. So she is working with Barrel Craft Spirits as of right now with the Stellum brand, and she is responsible for the blending operations department. So she is responsible for the single barrel program as well as the blending that makes the Stellum bourbon.
So so explain the single barrel program on a blend. What do they do? Blend and drop it back into barrels and let you pick, or is it just the barrels they're picking from?
No, this is the barrels that they're picking from for their blends. And the single barrel program is if they come across a barrel that is exceptional beyond the other barrels, then they will bottle it themselves, or they'll use it for a single barrel pick, whether it's for a person, a group, a restaurant, that sort of thing.
That's gotta cost a pretty penny.
I don't know how much it costs. You can definitely find out.
You got an extra purchasing group there. They purchase the barrel from the distiller, and then you purchase the barrel from the person who purchased the barrel from the distiller. Yeah, there's an extra step involved. But probably, if you're trusting their palates, then it might be worth it because they're pulling those exceptional barrels, right?
Yes, very true. Along with that, they have their own single barrel releases that they've let out. They have 5 currently that they've let out. 3 of them are bourbon based and 2 of them are rye based. So they do also make rye whiskey.
Yeah, they
Nice.
do.
This is very good, by the way.
Yeah,
I really like this.
That Stellum bourbon is delicious.
Yeah, that Stellum is good stuff.
But
Xavier, what are you getting off of that, Xavier? What are you getting off of that?
Well, I'm going to say mostly, a caramel or sweeter nose, but there's a little spice there. And as you, on your palate, and when you first taste it, it's smooth, but it gets a little intense. And as it goes to the back palate on, the body, as it fills your mouth, I am getting maybe a little bit of oakiness. It's not unpleasant. So it's a very smooth taste. And then you come back to hot and once again to the sweet side on the finish, I think. It's really got a nice finish, actually. What proof is this?
Yeah, that in a nutshell, that is exactly what Tiny and I both had.
114.98.
Ah, yeah. Well, this is really good stuff. And I didn't look at any tasting notes. That's just what I got here. This is
Well, that
this
was
is good
that was
stuff.
obvious. You weren't reading anything, so yeah.
Well, I didn't cram in the car either on the way over.
Well, yeah, you didn't even know we were. I don't even think you knew.
I had no idea. This
Stellum.
is just I hit it cold. So, but yeah, this is good
well,
stuff.
you hit it right on the head there, Tiny. Xavier. That was pretty much. Obviously, we went in a little more detail, but yeah, it was an evolution in your
Yeah,
palate.
exactly. I gave you the
glass.
Reader's Digest condensed version there.
Yeah.
All right, man. So I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you, everybody, for YouTube. I hope you like the little extra you get here with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Remember www.scotchybourbonboys.com for everything that's Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Remember, good bourbon equals good friends and good times, and go out there and live your life dangerously.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
The Watershed Story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours.